It is episode 22 of The Great Satan. And I am joined by, I don't do any like fade outs on the music. I just like hit it, run it for a second, talk over it, and then no more music. That's the way I do this.
You'll get no qualms from me, sir.
Hell yeah. Whenever I'm on like anybody's anything, it's like when bumper music's happening, I'm like, am I supposed to like talk through this too? Or like, what do you do? You know, like, especially it depends on the type of radio too. Like rock radio and like morning radio and shit is always weird. But then like talk radio, they'll just yell over bumper music. It's crazy. Like, and then
the original podcasts.
Yes, those are the original
talk radio.
And morning.
And let's hear it. And let's hear it for our talk radio heroes, folks.
They're out there on the front lines hooking up people to ventilators.
They walked so that we may crawl.
Yeah, that's right. They ran for like 25 years doing blow and driving cars that were way too expensive for them so that we could crawl.
Yeah. And I don't even have a podcast of my own. I'm just on one every fucking week. So I'm more of the Bigfoot to your Howard Stern, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm the
you're the bread and butter. So like you're to podcasting what I was to radio when that was around.
I'm the muse.
Yeah, dude. Without guests, it's nothing, you know? Yeah, what the fuck would I talk about otherwise? I would just go on Twitter and be like, oh yeah, this is trending, and that's all I would talk about.
Yeah, I saw this tweet that pissed me off today.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I would do that every fucking day. I would just be like, oh, there it is, the worst take. And then I would just talk about what takes are, you know?
Yeah. So what's happening, dude?
Man, not hardly shit. It's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday because of, yesterday was Christopher Dorner's birthday.
Yes. We honor the one good cop ever. Yeah.
The one good cop and the one good troop. He was both.
Yeah. Oh, was he?
I think he was in the Navy, yeah.
Yeah, I need to read up on my Christopher Dorner history, you know.
I
did a lot of whitewashing when I learned about him in high school.
Big time. I learned yesterday that like far right people like him too. Because I saw, speaking of like bad take, the worst meme I've ever seen in my life, right? And it was Zimmerman in like a medieval like battle outfit, and it said,
"Oh, I don't like where this is going."
And Dorner up on the top, like as the sun, you know. And it said, like, you watch the neighborhoods, I'll watch the skies.
What?
And so, I had to think about it because I was like, wait, how does a person that likes Zimmerman also like Dorner? Right?
Oh, my God.
And it was presented completely out of context. So I'm like, you can't like both of those people, right? You either think cops are good and black people are bad, or you know what I mean? Like that's
right, yeah.
You're either you don't get to like both of these people. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure where they land on the political spectrum. This guy, whoever made this meme.
Well, so then I looked into it. It's far right. They like Zim Zam for the obvious reasons, right? Because he's a murderer, you know.
He kills black teenagers.
Exactly. Yeah. So they love that. But then they like Dorner because he killed cops, and they think that cops uphold like the Zionism, like, and they think that all the government is like a leftist conspiracy.
Wow.
And any government that's not like expressly fascist is bad.
Dude, it is so crazy. Like, you have to know literally nothing about the Alphabet Boys, the CIA, the FBI. Nothing about their history to think that they are in any way leftist.
Yeah.
Literally the only reason they exist is to fuck us over. That's it.
That's all they do. Like, yeah, exactly. When they were like 4 years old, when we all learned like what firefighters were, and we were like, that's what I want to do. They were like, they heard about communism, and they were like, I want to make that go away.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
I don't want that ever to happen. Let's prevent communism. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I was thinking about like how many, because they have like 5 examples of the government ever doing anything bad to a right winger, you know, and it's usually not even that far of a right wing guy. It's just some crazy, like a cult leader.
Yeah, or it was a guy that like was gonna, like, it's like Ruby Ridge or something, where like the guy's got bombs and guns in the house, and it's not, they don't hate him because of what he believes. They don't want him, you know, being a terrorist.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then meanwhile, like, they would pretend to be Maoists to try to trick people into like being Maoists and say that they were going to bomb something, and then put them in years.
I just got this.
Hell yes.
A threat of the first magnitude, which is literally about that. Yes, it's about their FBI counterintelligence and infiltration from the Communist Party to the Revolutionary Union, 62 to 74.
Hell
That's
yeah.
what. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I haven't cracked it open yet, but it's been something that it's something I know tangentially about and can talk sort of more about than the average person, obviously, but I want to like get in the weeds.
Yeah, like it is a thing that you definitely want to like learn as much about as possible, because it is it informed the shit out of my worldview early on, and like my becoming a leftist or whatever. Like, before I read Marx or anything, I just hated the CIA and the FBI. Then it was like, well, what the fuck do they do? Oh, they fuck with leftists almost 99% of the time. Like, that's
right. Yeah.
Is make communes not exist, or stop people from handing sandwiches to poor people.
Yeah, I mean, like the CIA literally like built radio stations in South America that would have a stronger signal than the radio stations already in those countries, and they just would sit a CIA agent in the fucking station for 24 hours and have them go, communism's bad, communism sucks, actually, it's not good, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, and literally they would build entire fucking radio stations just to do that, to fuck with workers all over the place, not even places that have nothing to do with America.
Yeah. The concept, like, have you ever heard the concept Mexican radio?
No.
They actually, so like they learned it from watching you, Dad, you know, like that kind of thing. They learned that from this fucking crazy like white supremacist fascist guy that was like a modern equivalent of a billionaire in the Midwest. And all the local area, this is before the FCC existed, so, but all these local like radio people that were like regulating what you were allowed and not to say on American radio. At the time, it was just regular law enforcement. It's like cops would be like, hey, you can't tell people to like put salt water in their veins, for instance. Right. Like, because he was a doctor. The guy was like a crazy like quack medicine guy. That was also like a religious guy. So he was like, yeah, shoot salt water into the vein in your dick. It'll make it hard. Like, he just killed people. He was crazy and killed people. So, but he was insanely rich. So he went over to Mexico and bought like a shitload of land, like all along the border, and built radio towers strong enough to send the signal to Kansas from Mexico. So this motherfucker's broadcasting hate speech from Mexico
across 12 states.
Straight up like a 17-hour drive. He was like radiating fruit.
Did somebody change the fucking station? Like,
it's on every channel.
Still getting this guy.
Yeah, I wish I could.
All the way to the end of the dial.
It's just it's all that one guy. So like, obviously the FCC sucks, but then eventually I really don't remember how they cracked down on him, because like he was just such a fucking criminal. Yeah, that's one of those weird things. Like I was saying, like eventually you find common cause, and the government does have to actually step in and stop them. But So that's when that's one of their, I guess that would be one of their examples. But they didn't have to raid him and kill him. I think they just like told him to stop really politely.
Yeah. And he was like, all right.
Yeah. Fuck, I wish I could just like go, well, whatever. It's not important who the guy is, but he was bonkers crazy. He was like a snake oil guy. I want to say he did like implants of testicles. Like he would like take testicles out and put animal testicles in people's balls.
Ooh. Sign me up for one of those. Put me down for one of those.
Yeah, he like lost his medical license. And
do you have to lose one, or can you just have another one put in? I'll get, because I would get a third, I think.
Oh, no, for sure. If it was possible.
Just to take it for a walk.
If it did anything, I would get like 7.
Yeah. just this fucked up sack. Just
two.
It's like Santa's bag of presents.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you could get like smaller animals. So it's like 2 regular ones and then a ton of little ones. Just like
you get 2 little ones on yours, and you make a set of tits in your ball sack.
Nipple balls. Yeah, my balls got nipples, son. Yeah, that's the move. You got titty balls. Hell
titty
yeah.
balls.
You got titty balls. This motherfucker got titty balls. Hell yeah. So, folks that don't know who you are, you're a rapper. Your name's JJ Demon. You did a track that's named the exact same thing as my podcast, so I'm going to play the shit out of it.
Oh, thank you. Please do.
Yeah. I mean, I play the shit out of it at my house anyway, but I'm going to definitely keep playing it on the podcast. Outro episode.
I almost called an album The Great Satan, like years ago.
Hell yeah.
And just basically a lot of people stepped in and were like, maybe not, maybe don't.
Maybe. I mean, you could. So I was thinking about that because if the wrong kind of Muslim heard about it, like if like a, like Islamo-fascist, like a right-wing Muslim heard about
Tell
it.
us,
like,
what's the wrong kind of Muslim, sir?
Well, the fascist ones.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. The ones that are, not leftists.
Right. Yeah.
So, which, obviously a very small minority. Islam is a religion of peace, of course.
Right. Yeah.
Yada yada yada. But they are the ones that are like issuing fatwas, like
right. Yeah.
Fatwa on me from like a communist. They're not going to be like, hey, I want to kill that dude for a podcast.
We should though. We should do commie fatwas.
They do.
Commie fatwa.
Oh shit, yeah.
Commie fatwa. Jot that down real quick.
Yeah. Write that.
I wrote it first.
You said it first. So that counts. It's in the public domain.
Yeah, it's in the ether now. Anybody can have it now. Fuck it.
Yeah. Collective unconscious, or something.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm worried about it, but I'm not worried about it. When I thought about it, I was like, I would, like you said, I would be worried about calling an album that, because then that's forever.
Yeah, because I don't think, I mean, within our circle, like obviously when people hear it, they know what it refers to, and it's badass. Like, oh shit.
Big time.
But outside of that, people don't like you were saying, like a small portion of Muslims might get pissed about it, but like the average person just thinks you're saying the devil is great. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like our mind immediately goes to like but other people are like, yeah, okay, so the great Satan. Okay.
How great is Satan? Yeah.
How great is he?
He's so great. Let me tell you, folks.
But
the collar pull, do the microphone. Yeah.
But it really is just the like, I mean, as a podcast name or a song name or just the framing device I use to sort of open that song, I just think they perfectly encapsulated America by calling it that, for better or for worse, which is like why that's the opening line of the song is just, they call America the Great Satan. I wonder where they got that from. Yeah. Let's still, when we talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was why I named it that. Like, originally it was me and two other dudes. It was supposed to be like a in person with real microphones type of podcast, and then the coronavirus happened, so it's pretty much just me and then one guest at a time. But the reason we were kind of talking about it, one of the original co-hosts is Muslim. He's communist, obviously. He's a Muslim communist, and he's like, and I just was like, is that offensive or whatever? And he's like, nah, fuck it, let's do that, because what I wanted to do was like have that breadth of scope where it's like I can talk about the big things that make America the Great Satan, or like super tiny interpersonal ways. You know what I mean? Like, when some white lady in a fucking park calls the cops on somebody, like that's still part of it. Like it's not unpart of the Great Satan, So yeah, that was why, like, exactly like the song too, like, because you talk about interpersonal ways in which this thing affects everybody,
Yeah. That's just the way the synapses connect in my head when I'm like everything sort of gets mixed together, and it seems like it's all like exactly mapped out. You know what I mean? But it's just sort of the way that I just like naturally write. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I call it I call it zoom in, zoom out in my like internal vocabulary.
Yeah. It's perfect, and it's a really and it's an efficient way and an effective way to get a point across. Which is like I've learned that from like being a dad. Like the best way to teach your kids is the same thing too, where you want to teach them this big grand idea so that they'll understand it, and you have to narrow in on something that they get. And literally everything is that way. If you're ever trying to teach somebody something, doesn't matter how old they are, it's just the best way to do it. Not that my music is trying to preach anything to anybody, but I mean, class consciousness would be the goal,
Right, of course. Yeah. No, I mean, like all of there, I mean, I don't remember who said it, but like there's an old quote about pedagogy, teaching in general, is that like all of communication is pedagogy, right?
Right.
So yeah, there's nothing wrong with like making a narrative voice connect to people and then give them something back, Hell yeah. So how long have you been doing the rap musics, right? How long have you been doing music and then like inside and then outside of like corporate media, or like whatever you want to call it? The big structures and then the small,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I wrote my first rap. I think I was like 8 years old, but and then just it became something I realized that I was good at, and quickly became the only thing that I'm good at.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when I went to jail, like I was a heroin addict back in Philadelphia, and years ago. I mean, this is a decade ago.
Right.
But I was like doing robberies and shit like that, and ended up getting arrested for one that just sort of froze my life in place and echoed throughout eternity. And it was 13 years ago now, or 12 years ago, but I'm still on probation for it because I ran 8 years ago and they caught me in 2018 and took me back. So just sort of with that framework all in place, coming out of jail originally after my first year sentence I did. All in all, I've done over 2 years collectively, but that first year sentence, I got signed coming right out of jail. Right. Because before I went in, I had released this mixtape and made this noise with this group called the Cult Classics in Philly. And just people were talking about me. And then once I was in jail, they started talking even more.
Right.
So like when I was released, I like had a contract waiting for me when I came out.
Hell yeah.
Which I am actually, funny enough, an hour before we did this today, I was in negotiations to get out of it because I mean, I can't actually, shouldn't talk about it, But yeah, I'm trying to get out of it. I think I'm gonna. But so yeah, 10 years ago I got signed, basically is what I'm saying. And I released an album that makes me money to this day.
Right.
But I hate it. And the sort of leftism was they threw a wet blanket over it. And basically I had to sneak it in where I could. And I was still only a 22-year-old kid, so I wasn't that good at explaining it anyways, or incorporating it into my music. But just sort of over the years of realizing I can't not talk about it, me and my label have sort of drifted apart.
Right.
Where it got to a certain point where they're like, okay, do what you want to do, but we're not paying for these albums to get made anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're on your own. You're on the run anyways. You're not even in Philly anymore. You're in fucking bumfuck, Arizona now. So I bounced all over, dude. But because I gained a small following from that first album and realized, like, okay, I'm going to die of a heroin overdose. All my friends died. I'm going to die of a heroin overdose if I stay in Philly. So I just left and started crashing on people's couches all over America that were fans of mine.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's a fucking book in itself one day. But I just ended up in, 8 years later, I ended up in Lancaster, Ohio, and I have a family and kids and all that now. And, sober in the sense of my life is under control, and now I have prescriptions for things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
like, you're not like current. Are you currently wanted and on the run, or
No.
You got a wife and kids and stuff, so you're out.
Right. So when they came and picked me up in December of 2018, yeah, dude, I thought I was going to be good forever. I mean, we had been pulled over before. Cops ran my name and all, and like straight up told me more than once, listen, just never go back to Philly. You have a warrant there, but don't go back and you'll be fine. Don't go to PA. They're not going to come get you for this. Because at that point, it was absconding from probation, which isn't even a crime. It's a technical violation of the terms and conditions, right?
Right.
So that being the case, I'm like, they're not going to, why would they come and get me? Well, they did right before Christmas, 2018. Damn it. 8 years later, or 7, whatever it was.
Never trust a cop when they tell you you're good. Call.
Well, the thing is
judge or something. Yeah, fuck.
Well, those cops were taking educated guesses,
right?
Because why would they come get me? And here's where fucking capitalism rears its ugly head. Is somebody over there at the Montgomery County court decided, oh, wait a minute, we got some of these people that are in the red here and have been in the red for years. That means they're on the run and we can't find them. Well, we can probably find these people. Let's see how much it'll cost to pick them up. And if it's more than what the fucking state gives us for bringing them in, then we won't get them. But if we can make money on it, it's literally just trading bodies for cash. And I've talked about this on many podcasts before, but the extradition process is horrific. Like what they do to you. Yeah. Shackled the whole time, pitch black van, no idea where you are, no windows, fed through a hole in the back, given a water bottle in the morning. That's what you have to drink. And then when you have to piss, you better still have that water bottle. Find it in the dark. Yeah, dude, it was bad. But so yeah, we did all that. But when I got back to Philly, I had a new probation officer, which is great because my last one hated me. And essentially she was like, look, you've been living in Ohio for the past 5 years and you haven't had a single arrest. Yeah. So I'm going to give you the minimum amount of time you could do here. 2-year tail to finish back in Ohio. Just get back out there and start being stable like you were again. And so that's where I'm at.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And this December, I'm off all probation and everything. So this shit will be behind me. I mean, other than being a felon for the rest of my life, but
right. So no voting rights, no guns.
Well, I can vote here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I think people need to be educated on more. I didn't mean to say it in a condescending way.
No, it's fine.
One thing that I think every a lot of people don't.
Different,
Right.
Yeah.
I think people need to look up what their rights are as far as if they're a felon, because a lot of times we think just because we have a felony, we can't vote. And that's not the case.
Right.
Because I can vote here for sure. Just voted for Bernie, even though he fucking dropped out already.
Right.
But, so yeah, I can vote, but I can't own a gun, which sucks. I have a whole song about that called Death Race on my Spirit Cooking album, but.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
We were talking about music contracts, and I just got really interested in the idea of state to state, like having a warrant and then not having a warrant, and like how do you take care of like that.
Well, they have one company that does it. One company that drives around and picks everybody up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and they don't get paid shit. I mean, they're indentured fucking servants essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're making minimum wage to have no life, and they can only work 2 weeks at a time. I talked the fucking guard's ear off trying to make him a communist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he was telling me how bad it was for them, which cry me a fucking river. But
yeah. I mean, that is the crazy thing too, because those guys aren't cops. They're non.
But they can shoot you.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. Like, anybody can fucking shoot you. Like,
right, yeah.
Just can you get away with it? And they'll get away with it. They're picking up bad guys so they can shoot you.
Dude, these cops had Blue Lives Matter merch decked out in it, dude. I mean, and like you're saying, not officially cops, but they're cops. They're fanboys of cops, right? Yeah. I mean, they're like the lowest form of cop, really. I mean, the CO is like, that's what pisses me off about Rick Ross, who I love, but he was a CO, man. That sucks.
It means he's like the worst kind of cop.
Yeah. I mean, he tries to spin it into like, oh, I took that job so I can make my criminal underworld connections. And then, I don't know. Let's see how good your next album is. I'll decide if I believe you or not.
Yeah. If your record was good, then you weren't a cop. If it's not, then you were.
If it sounds like Teflon Don, then yeah, I might be inclined to give you some slack and believe you. But
also, like, I think you would have a shit reputation if you were a bad. I don't know. I mean, you would think that you would have a bad reputation if you're a bad CO, and you'd have a good reputation if you were like a good CO.
Yeah.
If you're like, running drugs for people and helping people out, then maybe that would go somewhere with having a good reputation. But I don't know, because the people that you're helping are in jail anyway, and then the people that you're
hard for them to spread the word.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're going to be out there free lying to the public about what you're doing 20 years later. Like, we don't know what that fucking guy was doing.
Right.
But I talked myself out of it. I think he's a narc. He's a piece of shit. I don't like him anymore.
I had COs that I graduated high school with locking me in.
God damn.
Yeah, because the jail I ended up at was like right near my high school. So like all the guys that just didn't have any direction in life, which isn't most people, but a lot of them wandered into the jail when they had a now hiring sign up. Yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it is crazy. And a lot of states don't even make like COs go to like basic or whatever and become like cops. So Yeah,
in Philly, they're not actual cops. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that's what surprised me about being in jail here, because I had to be held here for a couple days before they sent me back to Philly. And the COs here are actual cops.
Yeah.
Like, they can arrest you and give you a new charge, like, in jail.
Yeah, they can do that here, too. They don't usually do that, but the cops in Alabama the COs in Alabama have to go to Real Police Academy.
Oh, really?
So, like...
that's where you are? Alabama?
I'm in Alabama, yeah.
Okay.
Which, that's a whole nother... Alabama's crazy. But, the COs here have to go to, like, cop academy training, and, like, I think they have to, like, pass physical fitness and all kinds of other stuff, too. So it's a little... I mean, I don't know, because I only know, like, one... No, I know two COs, and I know one cop. No, two cops. I know two COs and two cops.
Just from fucking their wives.
Say what? Yes.
Just from fucking their wives.
Exactly. They're all for raising my babies. I'm just joking. One of them's like way older than me, but anyway, whatever. Yeah, so not like in music stuff, like how, so you're allowed to work outside of your contract already, even though you're still under contract to.
Yeah. Well, without getting too much into what I don't want them to think that like I'm trying to say anything offensive about them, or I'm not trying to be one of those guys.
Right.
My label, fuck my label.
No.
Because they did give me a shot when like there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's cool. But then just sort of, yeah, I mean, when being scared off by the politics, like you guys knew what you were getting. And then it just sort of, my label, essentially what they wanted to do was get acts and then sell them to bigger labels.
Right.
Which became hard for them to do with me because
that was a huge business model. Like starting in like 04, like that's still a big business model.
Right.
For like small labels is like signing little people, get them a little bit in debt to them. Like you go, hey, this is what it costs to make a record. We'll give you that much plus this much for M&D.
Right.
And then you're indentured to them. And then they're able to then sell you to a bigger label if if you blow up. And if you don't, then you still owe them for what they put into you.
Yeah. And in the beginning, when it was like they were grooming me to be like a pop star, like a pop rap sensation, because I became really disenchanted with like the gangster rap that I grew up on and that I was making before I went to jail when I got out. So that first album is like very different than anything you'll hear me talk about now, because I was so trying to put that behind me. I joke that I made an album to try to fool my probation officer.
Got it.
Like basically, and that's the one that like went crazy and you know, like, I mean, although my most popular song of all time on Spotify is about universal healthcare. Friday Night Alone is about universal healthcare, whether the kids that listen to it a lot know it or not. But yeah, so they were trying to basically sell me to a bigger label, and it became increasingly difficult for them to do that because you know, I was in and out of jail. I was basically showing up to shows and saying we need to drag the CEOs into the streets and murder them. And it gets hard for a CEO to look at that sort of an act and say, yes, I want that. Right. So, you know, I wasn't making it super easy on them, but, you know, I don't know. Whatever. I kind of would like to. I think that today I can make it saying that. I don't mean make it huge, but there's an. I should be in the conversation when we're talking about you know, underground rappers, and I am barely in that conversation because of all the fumblings that have gone on, would be them my own or my labels and all this other shit, and the politics definitely plays into it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah,
you know,
which it's crazy. It's crazy how slight the difference is between like an acceptable version of saying, like, you know, like I think universal healthcare should be a human right, or like I think transit should be free at the point of service, or whatever, and then saying, you know, the logical next conclusion, which is like the praxis by which we achieve these things outside of electoral politics, right? One is illegal and one is not. Like, like I can't, you know, I can't say what, you know, what has to be done outside of electoral politics to achieve our goals. You know,
it probably won't be pretty.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing. It could be so pretty. It could be so easy. It could happen with no violence, right?
Right.
But the people that need those things to happen to them for us to have good things, force us to have to think about shit like that and even talk about shit like that, because they don't realize how easy it would be for such a small portion of the population to actually engage in direct action against their necks.
Right. Yeah, and I mean,
Like,
if we weren't a threat to them, they wouldn't, like we were talking about earlier, the CIA and the FBI and how fucking uncool they are with leftism. I mean, they wouldn't spend so much time trying to fucking break up our little groups if they weren't threatened by us, you know?
right.
And it's, you know, and I'm not trying to be one of those guys that's like, oh, tomorrow we could overthrow the fucking government. Obviously, no. And probably as complacent as we've become, I don't know if it's a path for America. And I know I might get my
Right.
my communism card revoked.
No, not at
But
all. That's a
yeah,
that is a definite thing to think about. Like, that's the other part. As much as I say anything, right, as a joke or not as a joke,
right.
that small portion of America that it would take to actually do any of that cool stuff, that very cool and good stuff,
Very normal and good
very
stuff.
good things that would need to happen to achieve very good goals that would take a lot of people out of bondage. Um, there's not that many people willing to do it.
Right.
Because we live in insane amounts of like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing any of
Yeah,
it. What the fuck
I
you
mean,
talking-
I have two kids that completely 100% depend on me.
Yep.
Like I have to be here every day. I am a convicted felon. I'm on probation. I can't even go to like rallies and shit. I can't even face off with the fucking riot cops, which it would be my shit if I
Yeah.
could do it. But I literally can't because it's just like, oh, we pulled his name up. We got one. We'll send him the fuck back. Like,
Easy.
yeah, I can't do it, man.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
but I digress. I mean,
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, the people with anything to lose can't do it, and then the people that have nothing to lose also can't do it because, you know,
right.
there's
Life.
yeah, exactly.
They're in the wheel of capitalism. They have to stay in it because if they get out, it rolls the fuck away and they're homeless. Yeah, I mean, it's we're trapped, man.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it doesn't mean that, you know, I don't know. When people get onto other people for like, oh, you're not a communist because you think that blank is not possible. It's like, we're not saying anything's not possible. We're saying
right.
it's extremely complicated, and everyone, the material conditions as they are right now make it such that there's not a high enough portion of the population willing to do what needs to be done.
Right. Yeah.
And we're not going to say what that is. I mean,
yeah, I think
know what that is.
The rise of social media has made it like there's a lot of people that are able to say and want to be able to be engaged in direct action, but have not done it and probably wouldn't know what to do if they were caught up in it, or, you know, I think it might be a lost art, honestly. I mean, you know, there's still people out there doing it, but I mean, will we ever have like a million member IWW again in America?
You know? Probably not. That's like, yeah, one of the big things with like tons of trade unions and tons of different, like, oh, you're in this union because you do this, right?
Right.
The IWW membership in America is super fucking low. Like crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's like 25,000 or something.
Yeah, it's really
insanely low.
Yeah.
They had over 1 million at one time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy too. Like, so in America, most of the population, like most of the workforce, is doing what's called tertiary sector labor, right? We're not producers, like, so you don't mine anything, you're not a farmer, and you don't do like cabinet building. Well, like, yeah, we all do cabinet building and sales. That's what everybody does, is cooks, teachers, cabinet buildings, sales. That's it. Those are the gigs. Customer service, right? Doctors, lawyers, Indian chief, right? Those are the gigs. So, so the IWW doesn't accept anybody with higher fire ability, right? So if you're in management, well, that's everybody, right? Like if you go to like any retail sales organization, almost everybody's managing something, right? You go, hey, like go to GameStop, there's like 19-year-olds there with keys to something.
Right. Yeah.
So like and like I understand the political reasons that you don't let management into the union, right? The one big union. But also like management as a term used to mean actual management, right? It used to mean like overseer of labor. Right. And now a lot of the time it doesn't actually mean that, you know? So I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm not preaching at you. You're not like in charge of the IWW, but you get the idea.
I am actually. No, I am. JJ Demon, president and CEO of the Industrial Workers.
Entire IWW, dope.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Hoffa of the IWW. Yeah, man. I think having keys to a place should not disqualify a person from being a worker. You know, just the part of the cultural union busting of America, like part of what liberalism was this, like, the myth of the American dream was a small business owner and all this bullshit. But like, even small business owners owe banks, like, you know, sometimes millions of dollars, you know,
right.
And then have to be like the sole owner operator of a thing. And even then they're not owning the means of production. They own on paper the building and the car and the tractor, right, and the whatever, but they're beholden to somebody else that actually gave them the money for all that bullshit. So, yeah, you know, people think they're capitalists that absolutely are not capitalists.
My wife is the night manager at an auto parts warehouse. She's actually, her car died on the way to work. She's walking home right now. But I just got that text. Yeah. But if I don't have another car, so I would pick her up.
It wouldn't help anyway. Okay.
Right. But
you need to go because
right. No, I'm all right. But she will be walking in probably any second. But yeah, she's a communist, but she couldn't join if she wanted to. I mean, and I'm not trying to talk shit about the IWW. I love the IWW, but yeah, I mean, it's weird. She's a communist. I mean, we barely make ends meet sometimes. You know what I mean? We're living check to check most of the time.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on again, off again with IWW because when I do, you know, whatever it is, sometimes I'll have keys to a building, right? And sometimes I'll be allowed to like recommend hire fire stuff for a business or whatever, like, because, but the workforce such as it exists, almost no professional is not a member of the management class, right? And almost no people outside of literal, I mean, even janitors have keys to buildings, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, like, what management even means inside of American labor right now. You know, and I'm not saying they should change their politics just to suit the situation of America, but I think we could get up to 1 million members again if we could let some sort of an idea of management into the one big union. Because I would like to see 1 million Wobblies in America again, for sure.
Yeah, it'd be great, man. I just don't. I think that we are so lacking in class consciousness, like, and class consciousness to me just. I mean, I guess not to me, but my feelings are everything hinges on it. Every fucking thing.
Big time.
I mean, yeah, it's my ultimate problem. I mean, like, the thing I fantasize about the most is just waking up tomorrow and just the working class has become class conscious. Because it's just, that's the impediment, dude. This is what we're against, what we're up against, rather.
Right.
This is where we're hitting our heads, is that these people don't realize what they are in the layers. You know what I mean? And we have to explain that to them in a way. But, you know, our culture has taught us the opposite of that. I mean, being a boss is cool in America. I'm a boss. You know, we were just talking about Rick Ross. Like, he made that a fucking cool ass thing. And then now Beyonce has a song, I'm a boss, and I'm full. It's like, so now we're looking at the bosses like being a boss is fucking cool. It's never been like that before.
No, not at all. Pull up.
We shot ourselves in the foot.
Like a Phil Oakes, you know, like, look Phil Oakes, and then every example of him saying the word boss, it was never cool. You know, like, shit was never cool to say you were the fucking boss.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And you know, but I mean, it's not, it's like, obviously your listeners and stuff already know this, but I mean, that's just, that is the scariest thing to the powers that be, is a white poor person coming to the realization, the consciousness that he is exactly like a black poor person, that they are seen the same way by the government. Now, obviously, there are inherent systemic things that make it worse to be the black poor person.
Right.
But we don't need the white person to get that right away.
Right.
We need them to first see that they're equal.
Right.
And then we can show them that but that's, I mean, we're hitting the thing against that. I mean, the most racist people in this country a lot of times are fucking poor people.
Yeah.
Like,
it makes no sense. Yeah.
No.
It makes no fucking sense. Whereas like you have the least to gain from this racism. And then you're doing it the most because you feel like it's a thing that you have.
Well, you know what? It's sort of the way that Matt Christman explains conspiracy theories is the absence of class consciousness is why they come up with this.
Yeah.
I think racism in like the poor working class is a similar thing. Yeah. In the absence of class consciousness, who can you blame? You can blame the other, the person that looks different, talks different. They're living the exact same life as you, essentially, materially. Right. But you know, the cultures are different, so it's easy for you to scapegoat them with your problems, you know. But I mean, it's how do we break it? It's tough, man.
It's like a couple days ago, I was talking to Cole. He's a mutual of ours, I think, on Twitter, in some group chats or whatever. But we were talking about just like how, as a kid, you look at Democrats and you go, well, they hate everything cool. So then you hate everything. You're like, you just hate them in the absence of anything to the left in America. You think like, well, libertarians like drugs and let me play GTA, so they must be cool.
Right.
Like, so when we blame, like we look at 12-year-old to 15-year-old kids and go, you like Ayn Rand, you're a fucking idiot. And you go, well, all you've shown them is Hillary Clinton.
Right. Yes. Well, and this is
obviously they're going to reach.
This perfectly taps into the discourse we've been having for the last couple of days about Chapo, which, and I think I know where you stand on that. I am vehemently pro Chapo, dude. What else do young people have? Yeah. Where they can go, oh, they believe cool things and they're fucking cool. Funny, and they have the same sense of humor as me, and they're not going to cancel me because I wrote the R word in a tweet when I was 12. You know what I mean? Which I didn't. I didn't. But I'm saying for those that did, don't cancel me. But but yeah, you know what I mean? Like that, they are, to look at them as, to be a communist or a leftist and look at Chapo and think they are the problem, is insane to me. Yeah. I mean, they re-radicalized me after I was a last leftist during the Obama years. I became like an MSNBC brain. And this was while I was on the run. So like I was completely fucking, my alcohol addiction was insane. I had to be hospitalized like every month to withdraw so I didn't die. Put me on a Valium drip. Yeah, it was insane. Fuck. Yeah, so I was so handicapped like mentally and physically that like MSNBC was perfect for me because you plug it into your head and it tells you what to think and believe. Yep. And it was perfect because I'm not racist, neither are they. Yeah. Yes. Right. And that was it for me. I'm doing my part, you know, and Chapo is what really brought me back. And I'm like, wait a minute. No. I was fucking cool. I was I was telling people straight up what socialism was. I was in the fucking replies. Yeah. You know? So I just think Chapo does a necessary job that nobody does as good as them. Right. You know, I don't know, man. That's crazy to me to not see the good that they're doing. Yeah. And like, I'm not at all going to, especially on Twitter or whatever, I'm not jumping out and being like, they're the best thing ever. And I'm not like a Chapo fanboy or whatever. I like Amber a lot. I like Felix a lot. Amber's great. Amber, her writing's excellent. I like Amber a lot. I like Felix a lot. I think Felix is really good. If you haven't already seen it, check out Fighting in the Age of Loneliness. I watched it recently. Damn, that shit is good. I'd not checked them out in like a year and a half, and then that came out, and I was like, let me go back and listen to some of that because this guy,
Like, he just won me back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's so good. Felix is awesome.
Yeah.
I've watched
Chrisman's my guy, dude. I love Matt.
Have you seen, he was on Douglas Lane's Zero Books live stream a couple days ago.
Really?
Did you see that? Yeah.
No. I like look for his shit, dude. I'm a fanboy of his.
Awesome, man. It's like Zero Books guys are awesome. Douglas Lane's awesome. And Matt went on that and kind of talked about the live streaming every day. So I've been kind of going through those, and with it being every day and him going through the quarantine and stuff, it was interesting to kind of watch back through his like sitting day drinking things and be like, oh yeah, he was having like, it's interesting seeing like the death of the Bernie campaign in this, right? Like during this thing where we're all super physically isolated.
Yeah.
And like, do we need to pause for a second? We can if you want.
Are you biking to work? Oh. Are you okay?
Okay, I just paused it in case, but you don't even need to talk. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Chrisman, he's kind of been winning me over too, back with those, because it's like, that is, I don't know. It's hard to find historical context for this, and I think he's doing a really good job trying, at least, you know, to like, understand what the fuck we're going through. So that dude's good. But anyway, the whole reason I even got into like my position, like, because you brought them up, but like my position on them is like, I can't imagine, like, again, like, I don't get into like defending them, and I'm not like a fanboy of them, but I couldn't fucking imagine thinking they were bad. Like, a bad thing for the left. Anyone saying that they're like not doing a service to the left is out of their fucking minds.
They're just looking for things to complain about at that point.
It's crazy. It's like, go to a junior high school, meet any 17-year-old kid, and talk to them about communism for like 5 fucking minutes, or talk to them about culture, right? And then go think about the things that they told you, like listen better, like listen to the kids, and then they tell you what they think is cool, and then you go, let me find any left content that's going to appeal to those kids and it not be Chapo.
Right.
Like, outside of that, it's, I mean, there's just not a lot out there, you know, for those kids. So I don't know. I think they do an absolutely necessary social good. They leaned a little bit heavy into Bernie. So there's critique about their like appeal to electoralism, but it was hard not to get excited about it. Like you said, I was a delegate. Like, I was like, obviously, you know, I got fucking excited about it. Like, it's hard not to get excited about the idea that like we could maybe move the needle a little bit to the left without having to do anything cool to CEO next.
Right. Yeah. Very cool, very satirical things to CEOs.
Yeah. In my, like any kind of, you know, whatever simulation or whatever. I mean, the cool thing about being a stand-up comic is like, I'm allowed to actually just say, like, I could say like right now, I could just say like, it would be cool and good to kill CEOs, because like I'm a stand-up. So it's just a joke. It's always, it's just a joke. Like I filed 1099s with the government as a stand-up comic before. So I can always just go like, I do comedies. I've paid taxes for being funny, so I get to be funny.
What's the comedy scene like down in Alabama? You guys got a Chuckle Hut?
Fuck, man. I think we only got 2 comedy, like actual comedy venues that are dedicated to comedy in the whole state right now. We got one in Huntsville, and we got one in Hoover, Alabama. We got the Stardome in Birmingham, like Hoover, Alabama area. Those are the 2 like real comedy clubs, but then everywhere else it's bar shows. I love bar shows though.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, you
like
go
David Tell.
Yeah, like that. Exactly.
That's my guy.
Coming
love
up.
David Tell.
Yeah, man. And that's the scene, and that's where you learn like what the working class thinks is funny, and like how to appeal to them, you know, how to talk to them right, and not come off corny, you know. Like
you didn't do your woke set down there.
yeah. Well, oddly enough, I haven't had a gun pulled on me by a Republican since the Obama years, and it was specifically my anti-Obama shit that got me in trouble. Because they were like,
you don't hate him for the right reasons.
Yeah, you gotta hate him for the if you're a whatever pinko commie, you're supposed to like him, and it's like
yeah
you hate him too. Why are you shooting a gun in the parking lot at me?
Yeah, that the worst thing about like having a hammer and sickle tattoo on your arm is the dumbest people on the planet thinks it means you like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
Fucking nuts.
You couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah.
We probably have so much to talk about. That's why I liked working at the food bank, because I would meet people like that and I would teach them.
Yeah.
No. You and we agree on, I actually care about you more than I care about Hillary Clinton. I want things for you.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm a communist. It's what we believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can get in there.
I want to do satirical things to Hillary Clinton and most of her friends. Like, your life would be demonstrably better if you and I both together did really cool and good things to people that own planes that she rode on.
Yes. If we did parody, satirical things that were funny.
Very funny things. I mean, shit, she already did one of them.
Right.
She killed a billionaire pedophile, which I can't wait till we don't have to say billionaire pedophile. We can just say billionaire or pedophile, and people understand that we mean the same thing.
It's both. Yeah.
They're both. It's like saying ATM machine. Like, it doesn't make sense to have to say both of them. Fucking Epstein, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Donald Trump. They're all you can't have. It's love and marriage. It goes together like a horse and carriage.
It certainly does.
And pedophile. And pedophile. It goes together like something.
Are you doing a cover of Love and Marriage by Randy Newman?
Yeah. My name's Randy Newman. My name is Randy Newman. I like to sing about we killed a guy and Hillary Clinton got him. It would have been cool if the workers had done it. I don't know.
Dude, I saw this movie the other night on Amazon Prime that I've never heard of before, called In Dubious Battle. And it's literally James Franco directed it, and it's based on a Steinbeck novel, and it's literally about IWW infiltrators starting unions in the apple fields in like the 1920s.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. The cast is stacked, dude. And I mean, it's not like a great movie or anything like that, but it is literally about that. Like, that's the whole plot, is he's just an IWW interloper that
shit.
Yeah, and then goes and joins starts picking apples with these apple pickers. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
That is
a
cool.
Sidebar. Popped into my head and I said it.
No, that's awesome. I need to check that shit out, man. Like, no, it's on topic because we're talking about like media that like brings people like into the thing, man. Like, because you watch MSNBC, CNN, even Fox, like they're not down with actually doing anything cool to Hillary Clinton. Like, like actually, if you go on Fox, I would be very surprised to find any transcript of anything on Fox News saying in specific words that Hillary Clinton did anything cool to Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Like,
yeah, or even just like even Fox News won't go as far as to just like, well, they can't because they're part of the cabal. I mean, like, you know, the Q, they call them the cabal, but like they are part of it. Like, they're a faction of that cabal, so they can't really give it all away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like everybody all those people pouring their hearts out. There's all those blue checks for that woman whose parents were human traffickers. Remember a couple days ago? Yeah. And it's like, well, of course they're doing this because they want to be treated the same way when this shit happens to them.
Right.
When we find the sex worker in their bathtub, you know what I mean? That just like is all of his like organs are on the outside for some reason. I was trying to fix him, you know. Fucking,
no, you weren't. Yeah.
No.
No, you weren't.
You got to put them back in.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, they want like both. They want plausible deniability when they get caught, and they want normalization and like sweep everything under the rug.
Right.
Because they know it could be their turn next.
Yeah, civility. They want the civility doctrine. And we treat each other with respect. And I am a doctor of journalism. You see the blue check mark? That means that I am a doctor.
I have a PhD. I have a PhD in doing bad takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, man. We're getting fucking not super dark about it, but yeah. Entry into like mainstream media forms in like trying to do left that way. I think there's probably more success to be had in the culture war than there is in the electoral sphere, Yeah,
but it just pains me because how much does that really move the needle culture? Right. I mean, it's like we always thought it did. Like I feel like we were so innocent back when we thought like, I don't know, though. The Daily Show used to be funny, right? The politics were never perfect, but it used to be funny, and I feel like that did move the needle.
Right.
So maybe it's possible. I don't know, but then again, we still have Trump. I mean, we had Obama who led to the conditions that gave us Trump.
Right.
So I don't know.
The thing with funny, so that is one thing I can speak to is funny, right? If I can't speak to anything, I can speak to funny. People can laugh at things and not agree with you.
Right.
That happens, especially from people that are to your right. So like as a communist doing stand-up comedy, every laugh I get pretty much is from somebody to my right.
Right. Yeah.
So I know for a fact that people to your right can laugh with you about things, and whether they think you're joking about some of it or not doesn't really matter that much. But so funny stands alone, and then that's the sugar that you're feeding people the vegetables with. And the stuff that matters is if you load all of the vegetables in eventually and you hit a critical mass culturally where this is the vegetables and everybody's eating it, no matter what sugar it's encased in, whether that sugar has the R slur in it or, whatever, as long as everybody kind of eventually gets the basics, there are cultural battles to have, or that can move the needle a little bit. Like, one of the big ones that the accelerationists have always kind of, I mean, I couldn't argue with the accelerationists in that, like, you've got 55-year-old dudes in flyover country that know that, like, Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates and Bill Clinton fuck children. Like, these are rapists. So, like, the fact that they know that billionaires are pedophiles in flyover country is absolutely a win for the left.
Right.
Like,
it's valuable.
That is valuable. Like, for them to understand that. So, like, whether they're learning it from, literal fascists or, moderates or communists or whatever, that's a win for the left when a normie understands that every billionaire is a suspected pedophile.
Yeah, it's just it's so crazy the prism that they see it through, because their king, their boy king, their sloppy, slimy boy king is a billionaire,
right?
Or purports to be one, but he's a rich guy either way,
right?
And was heavily ensconced in this world,
right?
Had a case against him, that saying he got. I can't say it too loud because my kids are upstairs, probably not asleep yet.
Right.
You remember the case that he had against him when he came? He was with Jeffrey Epstein.
It was a
13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Right.
She had just turned 13. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, exactly. And then she had to flee,
She was supposed to do that press conference.
Yep. And then
it was like live. All the news stations were live where she was supposed to go. And she backed out and said she was threatened and couldn't do it.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean.
And gave law enforcement phone numbers, too, of the person that threatened her.
Oh.
And then that was not tracked down at all. Law enforcement never reached for comment on any of
the call was coming from inside the house, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so
she's telling the cop that personally made the call.
Right. Yeah. She calls the cops, and then the phone rings in the closet.
Yeah. Would you say the voice was handsome?
Yeah, he definitely sounded handsome, sir. Yeah, no, that's not good. No, it's not super great. But those, and it's crazy. So like they'll look the other way on that story, right? They'll say, well, that was brought up because the whole reason Epstein was like taking people on the plane in the first place was to get power over people, and the power he had over people was being able to do false rape accusations like that one, right?
Right.
But then if that's the case, then why would I believe that Bill Clinton's a child rapist? And he definitely is.
Right.
Right. Like, of course he, like,
of course,
without no allegedly to it. Like, this would hold up in, like, anything you read about it would hold up in court, right? Yes, obviously this is true, right? Obviously Bill Gates, obviously Bill Clinton, like, obviously, no contest. Yes. Elon Musk, all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it just Trump that gets a pass on it?
Right.
Like, Bloomberg,
one guy.
Yeah, this one
the
guy.
The most powerful man in the world.
Right. And they let him be president. Yeah, that's the other thing. This cabal, this like giant pile of the richest people in human history let him be president?
Yeah.
No, like, of course not. No, he's in on it too.
They wouldn't have let him be president if he didn't rape kids.
That's saying.
That's how he got in the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way they knew they could trust him.
Forbes wouldn't have let him say he was a billionaire if he hadn't raped a kid.
Right. Yeah. they gotta check his card.
Yeah, exactly.
See which ages were punched out.
Yeah. He's got one of those like 1 through 12.
Yeah. Once he gets to 12, he gets a free child.
It's one for every age of the.
Yeah.
It's like a free Subway sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's the worst. Yeah, fuck that dude. But yeah, no, the disconnect there is so easy to get through though. Like, it's if you just do that little tiny conversation of like, why would you think that all of the other ones did it and him not? Right?
Yeah.
Not him though.
Yeah, but I think we're in like a state of emergency with that shit though, because it's becoming very apparent that they don't give a shit.
No
matter how much. I mean, you could show a video of it happening, and they're going to find a way to explain it away, and he would still be Joe Biden.
Well, that's the interesting thing though. It's not all of them, right? It's just the diehards that are like,
right? Okay, yeah.
Right?
It's like the 30%. Yeah.
Exactly. Not even 30. I'm talking like that because I'll talk to like moderate, small business owner type of like whatever you want to call those, like flyover petite bourgeois type, like middle class people, and they're like, just the COVID thing was enough, where they're like, I mean, he's doing 3 9/11s a day. I'm not voting, like they're not gonna,
really.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See, I don't like know many people like that, so I haven't encountered anyone. I just sort of thought they were all just looking the other way while this shit was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to a lot of, I try to like listen, I try to like read and listen to a lot of different types of people and like what they have to say. It's been really interesting, especially like, well, what is the top of the working class is like doctors, right?
Right.
And they're like, they're not listening to us. Like,
okay.
So they're not feeling heard. So the very top of the working class, that kind of informationally or culturally disseminates out, and then people at the like lawn care level
Right.
of small business ownership, they're affected by that. They're listening, they're paying attention,
So
and
do
they're
you
kind of like,
think Biden could beat him?
so literally 4 days ago I didn't think it was possible. I would say no chance in hell, right? Short of Trump killing 50% of his voting base, I couldn't see it happening. I was like, there's no fucking way Biden's going to win. I don't know. The numbers that came out this past week are harrowing. I mean, they're absolutely harrowing. And I am seeing like those I'll call them reluctant Trump voters, those like middle people that voted for him because Hillary was so bad.
Yeah.
They're a fickle bunch, and the day, that day of the Tuesday when they decide what they're going to do, it depends on how they're feeling or like how their coffee was that morning. It's a coin flip now. I mean, I said during the primary, I was like, if it's anybody but Bernie, I'm putting my life savings that Trump's going to win again.
Right.
Like Vegas odds, whatever, I'll take it. Like Trump is going to beat anybody but Bernie. But this pandemic has made it like, fuck, I don't know. He might actually fuck this up for himself.
Yeah. Wow.
Which I think that's the first time I've said that out loud. Because
I mean,
it's hard to even imagine.
It's not cool for us to want Trump to win, right?
No.
And I don't.
Yeah.
But I also don't want Joe Biden to win.
Right.
And I think the thing that I really do want, though, which is in direct conflict with what I just said, is I want the DNC to eat a giant bowl of their own shit.
Yeah.
And I want them to see a hard number of people that did not fall for their bullshit again.
Right.
And that they know left. And if they win, it doesn't matter what that number is because they won. Yeah. And that's all. So really, there is this huge part of me that does want Biden to lose because Biden does not move the needle in a good way.
No.
I mean, I know we're in agreement on that, obviously. We're preaching to the converted. But the only thing that would, at this point, move the needle would be for the DNC to realize how many people they're losing and for that to generate a movement similar to Bernie in 2016. I mean, it was similar this past year, but something had happened. Something wind was out of the sails in some areas. I feel like
I would call it just the full court press, where you take everybody, you don't make it a 50-50 split. You make it like, let me get everybody out of you by having these different brands possible, so I don't think that it was so much that there was less wind in the sails or there was anything like that. It was like, it just wasn't a 50-50 split. You had an early push on you had Buttigieg, Warren, who else? I know at least Buttigieg and Warren both said that they supported universal health care early on.
Right.
And then most people don't actually pay attention to the news, had no fucking clue what that meant, right?
Right.
When they finally clarified that they didn't actually support universal health care, neither one of them, and so none of them supported universal health care. The average voter goes, well, they said they liked universal health care, and I think he can beat Trump because he's a young kind of gay dude, and I think he could beat Trump. Or she's a, kind of like folksy mom that also supports universal health care. And that fell even to the far right, even to your Klobuchars and your Bidens and your Kamala Harris, those super far right people. The average voter that had voted in the primary and obviously didn't vote for Bernie when asked what their most important issue was, said universal health care.
Right. Dude, my wife's stepdad voted for Joe Biden in the primary because of universal health care.
Thought he could get
which the man said he would veto.
Yeah, they didn't know that. Yeah. So for you and I, and for like tons and tons, probably almost everybody watching this, we know that these people don't support even basic center left policies, like anything to the center. We know everybody else that was in the entire primary is far, far right. Even Bernie is, I call Bernie a centrist. Like Bernie is the only center. Like that was the middle.
In a fair and just world, he would be a centrist.
Correct. Yeah, that's the center. And anything to his right is either to the right or is far right,
Right.
And some of the Democratic field was to Trump's right, including on most issues, Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is why, I mean, that's the other reason it's like, if he does lose, it kind of does prove that there's like a universality to left language. Like when Trump said he was opposed to TPP, the people that understood what that was and what impact it had on the lives of workers in America were like, yeah, I'm in support of that. And they didn't know it was a left thing to oppose TPP. They knew this guy hates this thing I hate. Well, the only other two candidates that hate that same thing were Jill Stein and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, like, we could get into the electoral politics, talk about all those, whatever.
Right. Yeah. But the postmortems have been done.
Yeah, everybody's done the postmortems, and I think that's why cultural battles like that actually kind of are important, especially on like, I guess in rap or like in music making, the place to do that is like, I don't know, battles, like instant content creation, like fast stuff, not like on records or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
stuff that I'm not in the battle scene anymore.
Right on.
Back in Philly, it was something that I liked to do, and that really, and it's not even a young man's game. I mean, a lot of the really famous battle rappers are older guys in their 40s now and shit that made careers out of it. But it's not something I'm even super interested in terms of, I don't really even like it. I don't. It's not what I love about hip hop, that specific part of it. But I don't know how to, like, I wouldn't know how to, like, I've tried to think of like, what would my Patreon be? What do I give people, a song a week? Like you can't do that. Like, they were not going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, in 07, I made a record a week on 3.5-inch floppy disk or whatever, and just like improvise to like pop music with a classical guitar and just like sing songs or whatever. And like to do that today, that would be like a Patreon, 12-minute record, every week, and then just resell it for like, that's the $1 tier or whatever. Is everybody?
I guess I could do like a weekly wrap up. Oh God.
Yeah.
But it would be the news of the week. I'm not calling it that.
Yeah.
Then that would be on the Patreon. You pay $5 a month and you get, I don't know, but it's not right now. I'm so like, I just released an album and a single. I have an album that's like halfway done. It's all the way written, but halfway done being recorded. I'm in the middle of like a war going on between my new management and my old label. Yes. So I can't like focus on fucking anything. I'm just like, I just got my medical marijuana card. I'm getting into that.
You're in Ohio?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Y'all have medical?
Yeah, man.
That's
PTSD.
dope.
And they let me stay on the Suboxone maintenance program at the same time because it's PTSD. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm chilling,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. With even on probation, they're allowing you to do both. That's rad.
Well, my probation is like, it's so hands off because my crime was so long ago that it's just a call in. So if they ever did call me in and be like, hey, like, we need you to pee in a cup, I'd be like, okay, I'm prescribed to this stuff. I went and seeked help, you know, myself. I didn't want to get you guys involved, and I'm sure it'd be fine. But I'm off in December, and you know, hopefully it just comes and goes. But yeah, I'm not like doing anything illegal. So
hell yeah, dude. Well, I'd love to have you on again sometime. I think we've gone pretty much like long, but
yeah, it's 2 hours almost.
We could do like we could easily do a 2-hour show, I'm sure. But
yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna put your @ in the thing, and we'll get with you about like either in like a Spotify playlist and a couple YouTube links too.
Hell yeah, man.
And actually, I'm gonna just I'm gonna jump randomly into the middle of the Great Satan, and we'll play it out.
Cool.
At JJ Satan, thanks again for being on.
Awesome, JJ Demon.
What did I say?
You said JJ Satan.
But that's understandable. Type in the word Satan. I'm
yeah.
Sorry. JJ Demon, this is the Great Satan. A similar solution if you want to call the cops. Fucking state employee with no reason not to shoot. One black life's more valuable than 1,000. Yeah, I'm gonna own a gun, I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna travel abroad, going to vote. The government loves. I picked a good place to skip to. He's talking about having a gun and voting.
Yeah.
In other words, freedom is only another word in a public myth. Something everybody ought to add to the fucking list, and it's true. If you don't give us any other route to pursue, you don't get to be surprised when you're on the other side of a coup. No, I'm gonna make them pay, yeah, I swear I will. I'm gonna come and get paid, throw me clear still. Bit to your head, hitting your shoulder, make your parents fell. Nigga, my ne'er wells, I don't think you were prepared for hell. Yeah, North Philly, Badlands, Drexel, Hillbilly, West